Good evening. Welcome to the stream of David. It's time for Claim Your Power Hour, and I'm mumbling it already. I love this. Oh my God. Okay, so David Strickle is out, so let's all send him some huge big love right now. He's feeling a little bit under the weather. And wherever you're joining from, hello, put who you're grateful for into the chat. And I have a very special guest for you all. Holly Liu is one of Taya's original graduates. She's an OG Taya graduate for real. She's a quantum healer. She does amazing work out in this world. And I'm going to actually bring her on and we're going to get into a conversation about what she does and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. So, Holly, welcome.
Hi.
Hello. Woo! I
Hey.
am so excited you're here.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. I actually have had an extraordinary day today. It's just been spectacular. Today was one of my days of like networking with really cool people and just getting into the groove, finishing my last day of school for my communications degree. So I was like, yes.
I didn't know you were studying.
Yeah, I decided to go back and take some classes in communication, just to ramp it up a little bit, you know.
You
But
need
other
help.
than that, I need all the help I can get, I can promise you. There's what I learned, Holly, was that there was an effective way to communicate, there's an active way to listen, and I wasn't doing either of those. I was talking too much, not stopping, slowing down, and actually listening at all. I wasn't present. And I wasn't present because I hadn't done my work. I hadn't done Taya yet and all of those things. And it's probably been now, I don't know, 5 years or so that I've been studying communications. And this time I just decided, well, it was time. So that's what I've been doing. How about you? How was your day today?
I'm good. It's morning here, so it's just started. Um, yeah, my daughter's with her dad, so I'm good. I've got a free day. Um, yeah, a bit nervous about this.
Well, actually, I think I love that. And if we could all just let's give Holly some extra kudos because she hasn't done this before. And what I'm excited about with you being here is that I know the extraordinary work that you do today, and I really want to talk about this and or talk about trauma work and your own experiences with it and where that has led you and how that Taya has tied into all of this. So let's get going with hello, David Strickle. We see you, and Sherry and Erica and Samuel. Hi, guys. So Holly, what what was this moment for you that you said, "Oh my God, I have trauma"? Because you were saying before that not everybody always knows it, and you didn't have any physical trauma, so you weren't really aware of this for a minute.
No. So it was emotional trauma. And I started to uncover it when I started to go deep into this shadow work. Um,
Okay.
and as I started to peel the layers off, I realized, oh my god, I've actually been through emotional trauma, quite a bit of it, and didn't even know it because it was so, it's an ancestral thing. It's been passed down through generation after generation through my family, and so it was so normalized that um, I never even crossed my mind that it would be emotional abuse because it was so invalidated. Yeah, I remember growing up. My mom used to, like, whenever she heard about people talking about their abuse and stuff, she would always scoff at it and go, "Oh, everyone's calling everything abuse," and it's so she would downplay all of it because she didn't even recognize it. But yeah, I think a lot of us are that way. I think all of us have been through trauma and abuse to various degrees. Obviously, not all, we're not all completely. um,
Well, well, I love that you're saying this because Holly, it's been my experience thus far that I have not met anybody that wasn't what I call a trauma baby,
mm,
raised by a trauma baby, and we've done some trauma bonding. And I didn't realize any of it myself either with some of it. Some of it I did and some of it I didn't. What was interesting is the sweeping under the rug. My mom liked to do the sweep under the rug. So what I'm hearing you say is that your mom did a lot of sweeping under the rug.
Yeah, all of it. Um,
Shh,
yeah,
don't
every
talk
single
about it.
last bit. What?
Yeah, don't talk about it. Yeah, don't talk about it.
Oh,
Shh.
yeah.
Yeah, shh.
It's fine. And then you grow up thinking, "Oh my god, like, I don't feel fine, but apparently I'm fine." And so you
Right?
lose your whole compass in life. Like, I literally felt I was so lost. I was disassociated from my body, I was disassociated from my emotions. I was just like I don't know what's something that's really lost, like a like I
Yeah.
felt like I was walking through life with blinders on. I didn't know who I was, but on the outside, I was all, like, sparkly and stuff. Like, my name was Holly Sparkles for 30 no, 40 years, or
Harley
a bit less.
Sparkles.
Yeah, so there
That's
was this, like,
really
one
cute.
but it
That's
was,
right.
like, 1% of who I actually am.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, tell me
Um,
about so who is actually Holly Sparkles?
Holly Sparkles was the facet of me that came through in order to survive everything that I had to survive. She was the yeah, does that make sense? So it was
Totally. She was the character that you created in order, but she was the person that told the people what they wanted to hear.
yeah, and she wasn't
That sh
fake, she was
Yeah.
real. She was
Yeah.
real, it wasn't the whole of me. Um, yeah, she's
I love
absolutely real,
that.
and she's awesome, but yeah, there was so much more than Holly Sparkles.
Holly Spark you just I mean, Holly Sparkles is like the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, geez. And your laugh is sparkly. All right. So you've said a few things, disassociation. You've said, okay, I was disassociated from my body and I wasn't present. I wasn't here. And it suddenly the blinders came off. What was that like? I mean, I know what it was like too. And is anybody else out there resonating with the fact that you feel like sometimes you're walking through life with blinders on? And if you are, there's been some things that we've done to get out of this, and we're going to be talking about that. So, what was that like for you when you realized that abuse, which actually emotional abuse, Holly, is much more traumatizing, if you will, to someone because we internalize it so much.
Yeah,
It's actually worse than the studies show. It's actually worse than physical abuse, if you can imagine.
yeah, because there's no evidence of it. There's no, like, you don't have any scars, nobody sees it. It's like this it's like it doesn't exist, but it does. Um, but yeah, when the blinders came off, I'm not gonna lie, it was really brutal. It was like a it was literally like stepping out of a matrix, but not the world, like your own matrix, and seeing your own reality from a completely different perspective and going, "Oh my god, what have I been in?" Um,
Probably not your whole truth.
no.
Right, right. Was what I'm imagining. At what point did you find Taya on this journey?
So it was before the shadow work. So so I didn't do the shadow work till maybe 2 years after Tyre. And
Hmm.
Tyre was amazing. It changed the trajectory of my life. It elevated my frequency. Like, it was all perfectly divinely orchestrated, really. Like, I had to kind of raise my frequency to a certain level before I could actually take that light and descend back down into my shadow. And so it wasn't that Thai didn't work for me. It wasn't that Thai doesn't work. It was more that because I was such a spiritual bypasser, I actually, after boot camp, took all the tools of Thai and, like, used it in order to spiritual bypass more, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about spiritual bypassing. This is a doozy. What is spiritual bypassing for you?
It's when you're escaping any part, like utilizing anything in order to escape any part of you. Um, so yeah, I used to, like, go on walks in order to get away from feeling what I didn't want to feel. I would, like, eat something in order to um, not feel what I didn't want to feel. But it was highly unconscious. Like I didn't even. There's so many subtle layers to resistance. It's only really when you begin to look at it that you become conscious of it, and you go, "Whoa, okay, whoa." But when you start to become conscious of it, you can begin to shift it and change it. Um, yeah, like I did everything to escape myself and my emotions, particularly because I didn't want to feel
Well,
negative emotions. I was all like love and light, holy sparkles, you know.
love and light, Harley sparkles. You know what? Just so you all know, that's just love and light, Harley sparkles. We all know that that's just not it, right? That's like me saying WG gratitude and that's it. Even though gratitude is the syrupy sauce, appreciation is the syrupy sauce, and we know it is. But still, there's the work to get into that space, and that's the work you're talking about. For those watching, explain to them what you mean by shadow work.
Um, so your shadow is basically all the unconscious, rejected aspects of you,
Hmm.
all the parts of you that you shelved away because they weren't acceptable. Through socialization, we're told what's good, bad, right, wrong, and as kids, we kind of go, okay, that's no good, so we won't be that, we won't be that, and we
Hmm.
kind of so we're born whole, and then essentially we start fragmenting ourselves and losing parts of ourselves, and they kind of sit in our subconscious. Um, so yeah, sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, no, actually, I actually dug it because that is what it just sits there, and it's like when you start driving a car, and you're driving the car, and you're doing it. At first, it's a behavior pattern. Like when we are children, we learn to speak, we learn to walk, and that kind of thing, and it becomes natural.
Hmm,
It's unconscious. Our driving a car, if you drive a car, it becomes it's just a pattern. We become really it's not even conscious anymore. We don't even pay attention to what we're really doing when we're driving a car, because it becomes an ease, a pattern. Just walking around in our everyday lives, not being mindful and present. How did you discover that you weren't being present though? Because in order to do your shadow work, you had to get present.
yeah, well, I became
Yeah.
present as a tire. So
Good.
I was conscious of my negative beliefs and patterns. I was completely conscious. It was just that I couldn't shift them. I could shift them, but only to a certain degree because I had so much resistance to them. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
So in order to really shift them, I had to release that resistance. And in essence, I had to love them before I could release them or transmute them, alchemize them. Um,
I love that. Talk to me about what alchemy means to you because you just said alchemize them. I love this because I love alchemy and I think that Taya is one of the ways in which that we start experiencing a quantum alchemy in our life. And you brought up quantum healer, but talk to me about what that is for the people that are watching us right now.
so alchemy is transforming one thing into another. Um, so yeah, we're alchemists. We're all alchemists. Our bodies are alchemizing machines. It will alchemize anything that is not soul aligned. So, like for example, negative emotions. If we just feel them through, they just move through. The problem
Right.
is when oh my god, I don't want to feel that, and we resist it, and then it gets stored in our bodies, and then it becomes illnesses. It becomes what have yous. Um, but yeah, alchemy is learning to transform it. And
I love that. I heard a version of alchemy explained one time. They said it's taking the lead of the body and shifting it to the gold of the spirit.
yeah, that's
So
beautiful.
taking it from that ego space, and the edging God out, the ego, which is our friend, but the shadow, it lies even beyond that. It lies in the spaces that are dormant, from what I'm hearing you say right now.
Yeah, it's
And
what we
and
don't
those are
see.
so that requires a big detuning process of yourself. Let's just
Hu-
face it.
Huge.
Huge,
It's
huge.
yeah.
Because Dude, like, I don't know about you, but I was checking okay, when I was in Taya, we're detuning our transgressors until I realized, like, I am the
Yeah,
transgressor.
yeah,
It is
that's what
me,
I got too.
right? That's a realization and an awakening that some people have a hard time swallowing because they are spiritual bypassing. And spiritual bypassing, again, for those who missed it, what Holly is saying is that simply if you're doing anything that's distracting you from yourself, you're probably spiritually bypassing.
And
R-
that's fine. Like, it's yeah.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It really is. So, okay, so everybody's been talking about Holly and Taya. Everybody, like everybody go they have a session with you and they're just like, "Oh my God." And David the other night, he was even talking about like, "Oh my God, you have to have a session with Holly." And I was telling you, God, I wish I would have done that already because I would have had the experience. But so many are because Holly, look, you've got something going on here. You've done your tire work, you've detuned, you've really stepped into a space of understanding what the shadows are. Let's talk about how do you help people see those shadows and transmute them?
Um, I kind of just open myself up as a channel. So the biggest work I've done on myself in order to step into this work is to open my vessel. Um, and it's a very intuitive process. It's every session is really different. It's just a matter of opening up the door for them to see whatever it is that their soul or their higher self is ready to see. Um, I use their emotions as a doorway, and I guess this is actually what. So, um, I feel like what I do is help people access their own answers, like help people remember how to access their own answers, because our emotions are like wormholes into every single answer that you're seeking. They're all within us, all of them, every single last one. Um, so yeah, kind of just showing them that doorway and go, okay, if you follow your emotions and your feelings and your sensations, you will you are your own guru, basically. Um, and also walking people through their emotions and showing them, holding space for them to move through it and remember that they're alchemists and it's an experiential thing. It's not like because people can say you don't have to feel your emotions for this and
Yeah.
this and this reason, but until you walk your ass right through the fire, you will never know that you can actually walk through fire and not be burnt, which is what
I
we can
want
actually
y'all I like everybody to catch that. You got to walk your ass right straight through the fire. You are so right. You gotta go through, not around it, not above it, not under it, but through it. And that's where how did you use the tool of appreciation? Because that's one of Taya's biggest pillars. And for
Mhm.
I'm imagining that in your healing work you're using all of the pillars in Taya, especially forgiveness and appreciation.
Yeah, absolutely. There's 2 types of appreciation though, I find. So
Oh,
there's
tell me.
so there's appreciation, which is like going, "Oh, okay, I appreciate this table because my laptop can sit on top of it. I appreciate these crystals because they, you know, emit positive energy or whatever." So that there's that, and then there's radical appreciation, which is us coming to the soul remembrance of how this life journey actually works, if that makes sense.
Makes total sense. I absolutely love it. I call that grateful beingness, radical appreciation. It's that space of knowingness of everything's just bright. Like you sit with it, everything within your heart, it's like exploding. Radical appreciation is this feeling I get when I am at one with source and I'm at one with myself, when I can just be here. And I love
Yeah.
that. There is nothing yet I have found that works like appreciation. But sometimes it's really hard for us to get to it, and that's why the spiritual bypassing happens because and I'm just gonna say it, because the victim mindset, if you're sitting there and you're like, "No, no, no. Uh. I can't get over the thing that the person did, you know, that thing that they did?" Well, I'm holding on to it, and it cracks me up too, because I would pull that shit. I'm not gonna get over that thing that person did, that thing. Oh, it was a bad thing. And that thing, what's funny is I'm over here remembering it, and y'all know that your memory is messing with you just because it can. And you're not remembering things exactly the way they went down. That's why 5 people can watch the same incident and they're all gonna have a different perspective. So, when you're stuck on a story, and that story is one that's not of bliss, or as the stream would say, if you're not in bliss, you're in victim. If you're not walking in joy and bliss, you're walking in a victim state of mind. And that's another thing that's really hard to swallow. It was hard for me to swallow. What do you mean I'm being a victim right now? As I'm complaining about some shit, okay? If I'm complaining, I'm in victim. I don't care what. There is no excuse. There is nothing more to be said. So that's our shadow, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the way I got to radical appreciation was through the shadow, and then I came through the other side, and it's actually a full remembrance of how the game works. This game of life. So, like, when people give you the shits or trigger you, whatever, they're actually showing you an unhealed wound. It's a gift.
It's a
It's
big
actually
gift. Get
it's
it, girl.
they all of them are gifts. It's just you just gotta remember how to unwrap the damn things. And when you begin to learn how to unwrap them, like, all your transgressors are detuned in one fell swoop, literally all of them, because you remember, "Oh my god, that person was actually trying." And that incident was trying to lead me home. My mother was trying to, in fact, not even forgiveness becomes unnecessary because you realize you're actually on the same friggin' team,
Oh!
if that makes sense.
Oh my god, it makes perfect sense. How well, see, because if you are at a space where forgiveness is not needed, you have entered into the space of non-judgment zone. Because the only time we have to forgive something is the thing that we're judging. So I love that you're talking about that. It's beautiful. Thank you, Carrie. Look it. We gotta love. How much do we love our Taya people?
Hi, Gary.
Hi, Leslie. Soul
Hi.
remembrance. Oh,
Yeah.
soul remembrance. Let's take a dive into soul remembrance. What is soul remembrance?
I just feel called to add something here. Can I add something?
Oh
Um,
yeah, please do.
I think the mistake that I made was that I tried to reach radical appreciation too early on. It was like I was trying to reach for it, but I wasn't ready for it because I hadn't. It's a byproduct. I'm gonna say that again. It's not something that you reach for. Anytime you're reaching for something, it's resistance and bypassing.
Say that again.
Any anytime we find ourselves reaching for something, it's resistance and bypassing.
Are you guys hearing this? Anytime you're reaching for something, it's resistance and bypassing. Because if you're reaching for it, instead of it just allowing it to show up, is that
Yeah.
yeah, and that's hard for people to swallow too. I mean, I remember, yeah, I still do that, but if you're reaching for it, then you're saying you don't have it.
Yeah, or that you're trying to get away from something that you need to clear in order to get that understanding of radical appreciation. The same, it's the whole you got to walk through the fire in order to, how people are always saying love is on the other side of fear. It's literally, it's
Yeah,
true. Um, so yeah, if you're trying to reach for love from the place of fear, you won't get there. You can't get there. But if you allow yourself to completely be consumed by the fear, you will come through the other side at love.
surrender. What do you think of the word surrender?
Oh, that's the whole game.
Talk to me about what surrender is like in your world.
What's surrendering like in my world these days? It's literally, well, I'm still human, so I still have resistance. I'm not like superhuman, but it's basically surrendering to whatever comes in my life, what's happening in my life, whatever emotion, whatever turmoil, whatever. Yeah, and knowing, like I've come to the knowing that every time I come through it, there is like a massive upgrade or a download or a some sort of clarity, some in every time. Um, Actually, no, not every time, but it'll, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's the game. And when you feel the game, it's so much more fun.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Anytime you're playing a game versus stressed out, it is definitely a lot more fun. I completely agree. Oh, uh, Eddie says, "Hi, Eddie. How you guys doing?" Hi, Robin. Says they literally walked through fire and didn't get burned, and I know that that's true, Eddie. He's also Leslie. Surrender by breath. It's the tie away. It's the 888 game. That's
Oh, the
cute. I
breath
like
is
that.
the breath is like the fuel to our alchemizing machine. It's everything.
It's the first thing we take when we enter this planet. It's the last thing you're going to take when you leave. So I would say that it is. It's the number one biohack, but not just any breathing. What's your I have all kinds of breath work I like, but my favorite is belly breath
Yeah,
because it
same.
fills you? Okay, yeah, because it fills up our lungs. The stuff that's happening up here in your shoulders when you're breathing. I want
Yeah.
everybody take a breath right now and see where you're breathing at. Oh, I see. I did it. I moved my shoulders up. See, I wasn't doing it right. It's conscious breath. Conscious breath is a crack up. So you notice that when you start consciously breathing, you want your belly to rise like a baby. So when did you really get deep into your breath work?
Only recently, actually. I was always really resistant to it because I've always had a breathing problem. So for as
Okay.
long as I remember, like I never been able to kind of breathe properly. So I always kind of avoided it. But recently, in the last probably a year or so, I've really gone deeply into it. Yeah, even this morning I did a breath exercise and it's profound. I don't know if you've done it where it's one, I don't even know what, maybe what's soma breathing? Maybe it's soma breathing. It's one where you like go, you do it about 30 times and then you release it all out. So you have completely empty vessel. Then you basically open up space. Um, and then you breathe in completely and fill yourself up with air and then hold that. And you basically rewire your whole nervous system, like right down to your cells. It's amazing. And I
Oh,
usually
that
get
sounds
like
like
full
fun.
body tingles and like I've passed out. I've like like
You passed out. Okay, you've
yeah,
done breath work and passed out.
but yeah, it's like a full body visceral upgrade. It's amazing. You should try it.
Well, actually, we could try a different. Well, that would be fun, but I feel like that it might be a bit much for everybody that's watching. But I bet you've got another one that you could. There's a meditation or a breath exercise you could take us all through. Not to put you on the spot or
The
anything like
AAA
that,
breath.
Holly.
Um,
Gotta love it.
we could do the 888 breath. I can't do 8. Like, I do 4 and yeah, that's
Okay,
me.
however you'd like us all to go through it. I'll mute and let you take us away.
What? Debbie? Alright. So basically you do it's like a box breath. So you breathe in, I'll just do 4. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, and then yeah, so you go around. So yeah, we can just do that 3 times, I guess. All right. How do I count and breathe at the same time?
You could just hold up your well, for those watching, she's gonna hold up her fingers. Here,
Okay.
I'll count. Here, she's gonna breathe, I'll count. Okay,
Okay.
ready? Go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Just kidding. Okay, what we're doing is raising the vibration of the planet. And okay, ready? Seriously. All right. If you're driving, don't try doing this stuff when you're driving. If you're not, let's rock some breath. Ready? Take a deep breath all the way down. Feel yourself pull it into your belly. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're
2,
supposed to hold.
3, 4. Oh, you were supposed to hold for 4? Shit, I blew it, guys. All right. See, she needs to be doing it. I don't need to be doing it. You need to be doing it. I tried to tell him. See, I told you. Okay.
Well, maybe I'll guide it and you breathe it.
Okay, I'll breathe it. You guide it. Let's do
Okay.
this. You guys, are you guys flowing with us? This is what happens when you get on. This is how you claim your power right here. Being yourself, expressing yourself, loving yourself, celebrating yourself, and then celebrating with somebody else. So now we're going to get back to the breath. I'm going to breathe. She's going to count because apparently I don't know how to count very well. So we're going to do.
Yeah, you're doing it all wrong, Debbie. Okay, you ready?
I was doing it all wrong.
How did you graduate from Taya?
I don't know. It was by the skin. It was carefully.
Oh.
Okay.
Ready? Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. No. Inhale.
So,
So
for all those turning blue, time to breathe in. I think everybody's kind of getting the drift of it at this, like, seriously. That just doing that one round right there, I just felt it brings you present when you're actually counting and you're breathing. And thank you, Leslie. We rock. I know we do. We really, really, really do. Seriously. You know, one of the things I love about when you really start taking a dive into shadow work is that you start seeing yourself for who you are and you just sort of know that you're not all those things that you thought you were before. In fact, you're nothing. You just are. It's like, I just am. Did you experience that too?
Yeah, I completely blew my own mind. Like, literally. I realized, "Oh my god, I do that because of that. I do that because of that." I just and then I ended up in a place where I was like, "Well, who the hell am I?" Like really, if I'm, you know, and it's been a really beautiful journey actually to really discover for the first time in my life who I actually am. Um yeah, like it's mind-blowing. Like how how much life can be an illusion.
Yeah. It is an illusion. And fear is false evidence appearing real. It's that false evidence that pops up that you say, "Oh, okay, this is what makes this story true. Now I can keep the story true." Because the false evidence, the illusion popped up to keep that going. It's really odd how that when you see it, you can't unsee it once you see it. It's all perspective.
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't unsee it. And when you first see it, you're kinda like, "Well, fuck, I wish I didn't see that." But then when you start to lean into it, you kinda yeah, you kinda go, "Okay, well, alright." let's explore this a bit. Yeah, and I think your gifts start to come aligned. It gets really exciting after you wade through all the crap. Um, but I'm not gonna lie, when you wade through the crap, it's brutal. At least it was for me. It was really brutal.
What was brutal about it?
Having to refeel it all, like everything that I shelved away, I had to revisit. Um,
That can feel
Debbie,
pretty that can be an
are you
experience
there?
for sure. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, just seeing everything for what it actually is, and it's hard to explain. Um, a lot of the yeah is feeling the actual like all the trauma, the fears, the despair, the all this underlying stuff that. So basically, when I first started the shadow work, I remember I was like I don't know how many sessions in I was, but I was shown that within me I had like an endless ocean of tears, like endless, like it was. And having lived my life as Holly Sparkles, I was like, "Oh my," like, I never experienced so much sorrow, like, literally, it was the frequency of suicide and despair. It was like, um so yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. And if you're in the frequency of that, of the suicide and despair, it's safe to consider that that's another it's just another space that we go to when we're victimizing ourselves. And you know, I mean, we hurt ourselves more than we hurt anybody else by doing that, you know? But the thing is this is a different thing. This is like when you have that awareness and you go, "Oh, the compassion that we can give to the heart that's going through this. That's how compassionate did you become with yourself when you saw this person who was just looking to be loved?"
so compassionate. That is yeah. Um, I didn't have a clue what self-love was, up until I started this work. Um, yeah, self-love isn't allowing yourself to eat chocolate on a Monday morning. I mean, can be, but it's so much more than that. It's actually just seeing every aspect of you, holding every single facet of you with complete non-judgment, and realizing that all these aspects of you are that way for a reason, and that it's valid, and that it's not dysfunctional. I remember when I had my first session with my shadow coach, amazing man. Um, One of the first things he said to me was, "There's no such thing as dysfunction." Because I was telling him about my life and stuff, and then he started validating my actions and my responses and my emotions, and it was such a foreign concept to me. I literally looked at him and like my mind glitched out. I was like, "I can't even comprehend that. You mean I'm valid? You mean how I feel this way for a reason? You mean it's okay to feel these emotions?" It was like blew my mind. Yeah. So that was he opened the door for me, and then I began to do it with myself, and that's what led me home, and that's what will lead everyone home. Um,
You gave yourself permission.
yeah,
And you gave yourself permission when he began to acknowledge you.
yeah,
Because that recognition, that acknowledgement, the acknowledgement of where we're at and what we're going through is really super important. You know, the fact we are all wanting to be loved, heard, seen, to be in that space, but I love how that you're saying that you had somebody actually hear you, actually
yeah,
listen to you.
yeah. He mirrored it back to me, so he did it for me, and then I was like, "Whoa, yeah." And then I
Yeah.
guess it triggered
Mhm.
this whole remembrance, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, it was literally it was a concept I didn't even comprehend.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. This is completely awesome. Now, let's tie this into our Taya work because everybody on here, a lot of you have been through Taya boot camp. Some of you haven't. How did you integrate this also with the Taya tools that you use?
So the titles are amazing. It's just the thing that I personally missed was it. So the first step is you got to see it. So all our transgressor work, when we write it all out, purge it all out, name it. The step that I missed was to feel it and allow it, and know that you're not it. So observe it all, and then rewrite it. So
That
that's the
totally makes sense, God, yeah.
process. It's just I missed the step.
Oops a daisy. Well, I'm gonna say that I took Taya not long after you, and I'm gonna say that I I feel that I did at that time. I feel that too, because I hadn't realized that I was my own transgressor yet.
Same.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, no, I detuned them because they needed some detoning." And
Yeah.
they knew they know they need to be detuned.
But that step was crucial. Like I had to do that
But
to get,
yeah,
so
well, of course we have. You can't get one without the other. That's kind of what the whole point is. There,
yeah,
yeah, there's deeper work is being done. Once you get the first, once you get through boot camp, that's why it's boot camp. That's why you're going through and you're getting basic training to
yeah,
get into the heavy duty stuff.
yeah. So you forgive them, and then you realize when you go further that forgiveness isn't necessary.
Well, yeah, because then you're just, and the stream talks about that. The stream has talked about forgiveness isn't necessary because forgiveness is just another avenue of judgment. Literally, like it's just one more judgment that we place on an experience rather than an experience just being an experience and loving it for what it is.
Yeah. But see, when people
But
used to
no.
say that
Yeah.
to me, and I wasn't ready to get. I just wanted to slap them.
Ah!
'Cause I knew that that was the end goal, but I couldn't get there, and then I beat myself up because it was like, "Well, yeah."
Okay, I'm with you on this because I've got people like I'll say this too, and they're looking at me like I've just gone and shall we are the men coming in those white jackets, sweetheart? You know, don't you know that people are victimized in this world? Don't you know that there's real actual, it's like, yeah, I know it's an experience and it's a vibrational match. That's what I know at this point. But I'm going to agree with that. There have been times where no, I had to get to the point of detuning yourself is, in fact, you know what, Sam, I love you, Sam, but I'm going to jump over here because look at what Sam wrote. I think really leaning into the idea of me being my own transgressor would behoove me. Sam, my darling, Jiminy Crickets. Yes. Yes. 100% accountability, not pointing a finger whatsoever. There is no other way but through that. And it's the idea, if you've spent your life being a good girl or a good boy, and you start seeing some of the real reasons you've done some shit, man, this is where the compassion comes in. But I'm going to speak from experience only. I have seen myself, I have been a survivor. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, man, a survivor. And sometimes survivors are ruthless, but they're going to do what they're going to do to survive.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. That might mean a few slays along the way. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, in some, but not unfortunately, fortunately, because without polarity, you can't see what it is that you need to see. The dark is the best friend that we've ever had. Without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark,
Yeah, for sure.
right? Can't do it. Not
And
even possible.
it's what we came for. It's yeah.
It is what we came for. I completely agree. I want to talk some more about quantum healing work. What is that? I mean, because we started talking quantum and then going in timelines and I said Burt Goldman because Burt Goldman's like the grandfather of grandfathers of grandfathers of
Yeah.
quantum healing work, man. He's just so cool. So I love that you were looking him up the other day. I
Yeah.
was too.
Not
I
many
was too.
people know him, so I was surprised that you knew. Well, I probably shouldn't
Um,
be saying.
I was really pretty stoked about I was really pretty stoked about that because like he did some great stuff and you know, I love that you're willing to show up and be the healer for the healers because that's really what you are. You're healing us. We need to do this with each other. So, one of the key things that you do, Holly, is you do this work, this shadow work with people, and you've done it with most of the people on here right now, actually. Luke was just talking about you the other day. Thank you, Jana. Jana says that Dark is the best friend we ever had. Couldn't agree more. Well, by golly, thank you. I love that. And I love you guys so much. Um, how do people book with you? What is your website? How are people getting a hold of you?
It's through Tyre at the moment. So yeah, David owns me.
Well, David owns her, and if you want to book with her, you're gonna have to come over to Taya. Well, seriously, I mean, I think that's okay. So you book through Taya.
At the moment, yeah. I am wanting to start my own thing as well, like a quantum healing thing. I don't know, it's all unfolding. I'm not sure. Um
They're singing your praises, Miss Holly. You know, oh my God, this is really cool. Check this out. It says, I love Holly Lou, radical appreciation, shadow work, super
Oh,
powerful and healing.
thanks, Luke.
This is this is so great. I really am loving this so much. And what do you think that the biggest things coming are for us in 2022? And what can we do to start preparing for that?
Um, I would say inner work. It all starts with inner work. Because yeah, what I've seen in my own life is that you see your own shadows. You see your own, then you see it in your friends and your family, and then you see it in the collective. But it all starts from yourself. It all starts from um yeah, seeing those parts of yourself that you've shelved away and didn't want to see for good reason. Um but yeah, that's how we change the world. When we change us, the world will shift because it's all just we're the cells. So um yeah, just go in.
I love that because somebody earlier was saying, I was hearing this argument about black and white. You know, this person's this color, this person's that color. And the person arguing it said, "What color is my shirt?" She's white. Can you tell where the shirt starts and I start? Yeah. Okay. Well, then it's just cells. It's cells that has little or either more pigment or less pigment. That's all it is. Period. And there is no argument. We are all made of the same cellular structures, you guys. Our DNA is put together a little bit differently. Our cells are a little bit different because they're each unique to us. But the fact is that we are all one. We're all just one giant cell. Okay.
Mega
Well,
cell.
we're what?
We make up one big mega cell.
One big mega cell. There you go. We're a mega cell. I love this. And when we change ourselves, we change the world. There is nothing truer than this. Self work, self love, self first is not selfish. And it's super important to understand that the work that you need to do is simply learning how to love yourself fully.
Yeah.
You've got something, Birdie.
It's funny because like many years ago, for many years, you know how there's so many spiritual teachers that are always about, oh, you just gotta love yourself, you just gotta like, and I used to always be like, oh, I gotta love myself. And I never really got it. And then now that
Right.
I've got it, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, like
Yeah, you got to love yourself.
it sounds stupid. Like all you have to do is love yourself. But surely that's the work.
Yeah, but I do, Holly. I do love myself. What the hell? What could you possibly mean? No, this is she's not playing. It's like it's an acceptance of yourself that is like no other. Once you can accept who you are, you can accept other people, but you're right. If you want to change people that are out there and thank you for wanting to do rallies and fight for other justice and all that, but it's really definitely not necessary. What's necessary is you doing your work, your internal work. And the distraction, unfortunately, I'm going to bust the martyr bubble. Um, unfortunately, isn't going to achieve what the self work is looking to achieve. It just isn't. I mean, I love that people go out and they do different things and we should all show up and be of service. That's not what I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying that when it is in lieu of you actually stepping in and doing your own work for yourself, that might be a problem. But that's how we started this whole conversation was you were talking about spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we head out, um, talk to me about what you would like to share with the others. What's coming through for you today?
Give me a minute.
Okay, we're going to give her a minute. While we're giving her a minute, I want to tell you all that Taya will be live in Los Angeles in January. The tickets are on sale now at thestreamofdavid.com/events, and I'll put the post into the link here shortly. Um, Holly, you have done an amazing job today. And I know how hard it is for the very first time when we first step out onto the platform, onto a live stream. You've done an extraordinary job. Can we all just give Holly a really seriously give her a hand? She's done fabulous. And I I feel like that you've got some more to share here.
Well,
She's so cute.
what I have to share is that I've gone completely blank, and I don't have anything for you. I just, like, tried to t tap in and it was, like, blank, which
Oh,
is
because you
like
tried to do it. That's why I get because you know that that's what happens. Totally. All right. Why don't you just what we'll end it with who are you grateful for? I am grateful for everybody, everybody that has shown up today and that will show up and see this replay. I'm grateful for everybody that has been in Taya. Everybody loves you so much, Holly, and I love this. Thank you guys for supporting this journey with Holly. And I mean, they're just like they're giving you stars there, girl.
"Aw, thank you." I'm grateful for the people giving me stars. I don't I'm grateful for, yeah, just humans in general that are especially the ones that we signed on to play like, to co-create with in this lifetime. And yeah, like we're all calling each other forward. So
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
thanks for playing with us.
I love that. Yeah, we love you. We love you coming over to our sandbox and playing in our sandbox with us. We're all just walking each other home, as Ram Dass said when he was here on this planet. And I love this. Luke says, I'm grateful for both of you. That's beautiful. And everyone
You
in this space. And
too.
all of you guys need to send some prayers out to David Strickle. We will be back next Thursday, but next Thursday we're going to have a really special claim your power hour with with everybody from Taya. All right, there's going to be a lot of people there. We're going to be celebrating stepping into Christmas holidays. So which is going to be really super exciting. I love your Christmas decorations back there, your poinsettia. Those are beautiful. Oh, it's next Wednesday. Thank you, David, for correcting me. So that is next Wednesday. If anybody is interested in joining Taya, you can join our practice group, which is right here, our Facebook group, the Taya Practice. Okay, you can do that. All right. And to know more, you go to thestreamofdavid.com and thestreamofdavid.com and look for events. as well, we'll have Carrie, bless you, sweetheart. We'll have Carrie go ahead and post the event link right into the chat because it is going to be seriously exciting. And it's our birthday on the 20th. Well, happy birthday. I love that. You are very, David, we hope you feel better.
Hi,
We, we get his
David.
cute little face. We could have his cute little face. I got to see David over the weekend.
Oh,
I got to meet Stacy in person and Renee in person and Stacy's husband, and I of course got to see David and Michael, and
that's so nice.
I I just had an absolutely extraordinary time. It was wonderful, and David was a trooper. He came. He does not have COVID. He just has a little cold. So, but he definitely needs some of that loving energy. I love all of you guys, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, Holly.
You too.
You've done an amazing job. If anybody's interested in healing work with Holly, you can go through Taya or hit up Carrie. This would be Carrie, just in case you're all wondering. This beautiful, gorgeous goddess right here.
Harry.
Okay. All right. So we will see you over in the Taya practice page, and we will see you next Wednesday for a very special 2 hours with the stream of David and Taya Bootcamp graduates. So until then, peace out.